Hi guys, welcome to the video. In this video, we'll be configuring Loki, Grafana Loki. We'll be having two servers, one with Grafana Loki and another with Promtail, and we'll be getting the application logs on Loki through Promtail, and then we'll be displaying on Grafana dashboard. Let's start creating the servers. For creating the servers, I've written Terraform code for that. So this Terraform code I've given the GitHub repository also. So rather than creating it manually, I've created Terraform code. So using that Terraform code, I'll create it. This is the Terraform code which is there. So I'll give it in GitHub repository as well. So once it's created, let's try to configure Loki. This is the official documentation which is there. So we'll follow this documentation to install Loki and Promtail. Promtail it will take the logs from the application and it will send it to Loki, and Loki will try to get it on Grafana dashboard. So that's how it is. So if you go to release page, we'll try to get it. It's created. So let's try to get into the server. I've written a blog also. This is the blog which I've written. So we can follow the blog as well if at all if we don't want to follow the documentation which is there. Let's follow the doc as well. I've written the same step which is there in the documentation. So let's follow the doc. Unzip is not found. Let's install unzip. Once it is unzipped, let's try to get the YAML file of the configuration. Once it is there, let's try to move it to the user local bin. Once it is there, let's try to add hash before one of the file in the line. Like multivariant, we have to disable multivariant. So for that, we have to disable this. So for disabling, we have to add hash before this file, before this line. For that, I've written a command. You can use that command, and we can. Sorry, this enable multivariant queries. I've disabled it. I've had hash for that. This command will do that. So once it is done, let's create a service for our let's create a service for our Loki. The service and all will not be available in documentation, which I've created. I've created the service. This will be only available in my documentation, in my blog. It will not be available in the official doc. Once it is running, try to see it is getting the metrics. Let's try to create the service file. It is not able to fetch the service file because I was inside home. So inside home Ubuntu. So we'll try to create it. Now it is working now. So let's see the status. It is working now, and let's see if it is giving the metrics. It is giving the metrics as well. So Loki is working now. Once Loki setup is done, let's install Grafana as well. This installation I'm doing it through here. So this is the documentation for downloading Grafana. Find the same documentation which is here. I've written in the blog, so you can follow it in the blog as well. Let's move Grafana binary to user bin. And let's start the Grafana server. Let's check the status of it. It's also working. So let's check if we are able to access the dashboard. It runs on 3000 ports. So let's check. We are able to access the dashboard as well. User's own password. Once this is done, let's install Prometheus also on our Loki server. Let's install Prometheus. Prometheus is not required, but I'm installing Prometheus for dashboard purpose. Create a user, Prometheus user. Try to create directories, and let's try to create a service. Now let's try to install Prometheus, download Prometheus binaries. Let's create a service file for Prometheus. Once it is done, let's try to install Promtail on Promtail server. We are seeing that Prometheus also is running fine. So once Prometheus is running, let's try to check if dashboard is accessible. Even targets are also accessible. Let's try to install Promtail on Promtail server. Let's try to grab the Promtail server IP. For installation of Promtail, we'll follow the same documentation. We can follow official documentation as well when we have to install this config file and all, right? So we'll follow the same documentation which I have created, and we can install Promtail. Unzip is not found. Let's install unzip. Unzip, yeah. Once unzip is done, let's try to move the binaries to user local bin. Once binaries are moved, then let's install the config file. Once config file is pulled, we have to make some changes. We have to add from Loki IP in that. To add Loki IP in that configuration file. So we'll make changes. We have to send logs to Loki server, right? So for that we have to change the IP from localhost to Loki IP. This will send the logs to Loki server. Once it is done, let's create the service, and let's try to reload the daemon, and then try to restart. Let's try to start the Promtail as well. It is running. So now let's jump into Grafana dashboard and try to add the data sources. Let's try to add Prometheus as well. Once it is added, let's create dashboard. Let's import. I have one ID. Let's import that and try to see if we are getting the logs. I have one ID. One ID I have here. Try to see. We have to add data source Loki and Prometheus as well. We are getting the logs, but we have to get specific logs, right? So for that, we need to configure dashboard. Loki, and then we have to take file name slug. If I run queries, we're getting the logs. Yeah. I'll try to deploy an application and try to fetch that logs. So this is the application code. This is the application code, and we can deploy it using this shell script which I have written. Like this shell script will deploy everything. You don't need to do anything. We'll try to fetch the code and try to create an environment and try to deploy and create a service for the application and do everything in this shell script. I've written this. Let's try to deploy in Promtail server. Try to create their virtual environment and try to start the Flask service and create a service for Flask and then try to do everything. So let's try to get the application. On 5000 it runs. This is the application. So let's try to get. This is the application. So let's try to fetch logs for that application. Let's try to create log file for that. This is a log file for that. So let's create it. Let's update this file, Promtail file. Loki server IP. Let's restart Promtail. Let's check the status of Promtail. It is running. So yeah, so once it is done, so now let's create dashboard for our application. One total number of get requests which I am getting on that server, on that application. So 200, okay, 200 200 code I want. I want 200 code. So 200 code. This is the query which I can use it. So let's try to use it. 200 get requests. These many 200 get requests are there in my. Can save the dashboard. I can add panel also. I'll add one more panel to get overall how many requests have come till now. So this is the query for that. And how many 404 error requests have come till now. Let's check that. Three. So that's how we get application logs also. So this is how we configure Loki Grafana Loki Promtail. So that's all. That's all we have achieved. Like whatever we have achieved in this video, that's all. We can get the critical and fatal alerts also. Let's try to get it. In add panels. Whatever is critical or anything, it will come there. It will come in this. So right now there is no data, so we can get 500 or 500 error also. You can get it from this query. There is no data as of now. Once data is there, it will give the count there. Once data is there. Right now there is no data, so that's why it is not giving anything. That's all. These are 4 and 404 error. So these are 200. Okay. We'll try to install Nginx also. working fine. So let's try to get those logs, Nginx logs. File name we can give and syslogs. Nginx. Nginx logs also we are getting. Give job also, job var log. You can give var log also. You can get using file name also, like we have given file name also, file name app. This is the app log, so which we have given. So this is Flask app, logs of Flask app. So these are logs of Flask app. That's how we get the logs in our dashboard. So let's check some other explore aggregated. Let's see aggregated var logs. We are getting it. So that's how overall we are getting the logs of the application and var logs in Nginx logs also. So let's try to see. Let's try to uh, get let's try to get the dashboard which we have installed till now. Like just now we have installed, right, one dashboard. It by file name. You can give file name. Yeah. these many get requests we have in our application. So we got like this is the graph which we got. So that's the overall what we wanted to achieve. Like we have created two servers. In one server we have installed Grafana Loki, Grafana and Prometheus. In another server we have installed Promtail, an application, Flask application, and we are sending the Flask level application to Loki through Promtail, and through Grafana dashboard we are displaying the logs of the application. So that's how we get overall. That's all the overall understanding of. That's all the overall understanding of how to configure Loki in our servers. So that's the overall understanding of whatever we wanted to achieve. So that's all. If you like the video, you can please subscribe to the channel, and if at all if you want to share, you can share it with your friends if you felt it is useful. Thank you.